a lot of businesses here, especially local businesses, they don't even make it to the first, second, third generation. And here you are being, that exemption. What is the secret? How did your businesses stay in business so long? And what is the secret behind it?
I think personally it's your product. Your product has to sell. You've got to keep up with the quality of your product, something that people out there love so much. There's a little secret that everybody seems to think that a Sno-Ball business or snow cone business is a children's treat. I would say 90% of my customers are all adult. The kids get lucky that they're going to get some.
I was going to say, what's the hot time to come by? Because I know when I take my granddaughters, it's right after school. I always want to go after school.
And that's about the busiest.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to your little lunch crowd that come in that want the Frito pie, that want the nachos. And I have people who come in and sit down and they order nachos and a Frito pie and they take a Mexican Coke. And then they have their Sno-Ball and they're eating out of everything at the same time.
You don't have to tell them about me, Jennifer. No. I know that you mentioned your family starting the business when you were 12. How did the idea come about? And tell us about your experience, growing up in the business.
My father, who's originally from Fremont, Texas, his siblings had businesses. They had grocery stores, and they had carnicerias, they had all of that. And my dad, that was always his dream, is to have his own business. So he was working on West Side and he went to this little store that was being sold by the older couple. And so it was, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, it cost $10,000 to buy the little business. It was not in very good shape, but my parents worked it out. And my mother was a perfectionist kind of, and she was trying to perfect the best syrup to sell.
So you were about 12 when they opened that first one?
Yes.
Do you remember at the time, being that young, do you remember what your parents were going through, the stress of it, maybe thinking, wow, is this really, like, how are we going to make a living off of this? Just something that seems so simple.
Actually, my parents never stopped working their regular jobs. My mother was a medical assistant back then. My dad was a beer man, and they never stopped working. And guess what? We had to work.
Bañuelos Tires has been a staple here in South Texas for 40 years. Congratulations on that. What is the secret behind, your business being in business for such a long time?
I believe it's just work. Mm-hmm. My father would always tell me back in the 90s or 80s, we would work 12-hour shifts from 8 to 8. And that was the secret. Mijito, tienes que trabajar y trabajar duro. So that means to always work hard. Son, you have to work and work very hard. So that was our schedule. Same thing like hers. Like, I didn't choose to open a business. He chose it for us. Like, you're gonna go to work.
Were you a little resentful at first?
Oh yeah. I didn't enjoy what I was doing. I don't like getting dirty. I don't like sweating. But then once you start seeing the change, what you could do to the business, and I started liking it, and then I fell in love with it, and I have a passion for it. Then I went to seminars to learn more about the industry, more about the tires, more, not just used tires, but then I brought in the new tires, and alignments and brakes and everything else.
At what age did you start working for your dad?
At the age of 12.
Okay.
But
so how did you handle that in school?
It was tough. I've always liked to make money. I've always been a little entrepreneur. I would sell pencils in school, gums, 3 for 10 cents, and so forth. I've always liked the business aspect.
The hustle.
But the tire industry at that time, selling used tires, getting dirty, we didn't have a roof, so we would work in the rain, work in the mud, and I told my son, y'all have it made. Vives en la gloria, which means y'all live in the glory, because now we had to actually not invent the tire changer, but make it work for us to work on more expensive rims. But now it's like everything's offered to us. I told my employees, y'all have got it made. Y'all don't have to work in the sun the way I did. But that's why I was over resentful, because I didn't want to work out there. But when I turned 18, my father made me, as soon as I graduated from high school, I was planning to go to college. I was going to college, but he says, no, vas a trabajar, you're gonna work. So I was putting 84 hours and going to school for 12. So it was very difficult, but then I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do something, I gotta do it right. I can't do just half it.
Okay, Brandon, is your dad making you?
No, not at all.
Is it like your granddad? How did that work?
That was a crazy thing because like whenever my grandpa passed away, this is like I never really told anybody, but I remember whenever he passed away, my dad took over his business, right? And I was like, man, if something happens to my dad, what am I gonna do? So I was working a job at the time, I was going to school. I was thinking I need to learn a little bit of the family business because at that point, if something were to happen to my dad, am I gonna sell it or what's gonna happen, you know what I mean? So once I kind of got in that mentality, I went to go help my dad and I told him, I'm gonna do this while I go to school. And he even told me like, you don't have to work that much, focus on school because that's like both of my parents, like big deal. They wanted me to, you know, do what they did and go to school. So I was like very for that. And then eventually when I grew into the business, I told my dad, you know what, I'll give you a chance after school. I'll give you 1 year. And we're already like at 1.5 years and I'm still here. So I ended up liking it. And I just like actually like working with my dad and kind of like our relationship just keeps getting better and better in work and our personal one as well.
I was gonna say, what kind of lessons, you picked up a lot from your father, but you know, times change and attitudes shift. How did you treat your son bringing him into the business where you're like, I'm gonna do exactly what my dad did to me to him? Or did you allow for certain things to kind of play out?
Totally opposite. I gave him the choice. Now, we have to back up. I was also a soccer coach in high school for 4 years, or 3 years. And he knows the tough side of me. And I would always tell him, you got to hit the soccer ball like this, and you got to work this way. You got to give 110. So when it comes to work, it's the same thing. Like, okay, this is how we do it, and this is how we're going to do it. Sometimes we stress of our numbers. We look at the bank accounts. Oh no, it doesn't look good. But
Yeah.
I tell him, I've been through worse. It's gonna pass. So we just have to work and treat the customers right, and you know, and treat our employees right as well.
And you touched on it, it's how you treat the customers. It starts there because they can choose to go anywhere else. So what's the formula for making sure they keep coming back?
Once again, it's the product. It's the quality of the product. It's the consistency of making a good Sno-Ball because there's a way to do it. And the syrup has to be still delicious. It's from 52 years ago when my mother started.
It tastes just like I remember. That's what you want.
Yes, this is exactly it.
I remember seeing you on the commercials, and then now I see, you know, your son, and not only that, but he's taken over social media as well. It's so different.
Totally
Talk to us about like the difference and how things were and how things are now, and what you're seeing, how things are going moving forward.
Totally different. Totally different. I remember when I was you had the yellow pages, and you try to get the biggest ad in there, and you had the newspaper, and
Does your son know what yellow pages are?
I think so. It's a little small book now. Back then it was a big book, now it's a little book. But all those things have changed. We're talking about television. Now more people on their telephones watching, you know, what's going on there. So when he comes along, he says, hey, I'm gonna do this on Facebook. I'm like, there we go again, but it's working. It does
Yes.
well.
The relationships that you have built here in the community says a lot. Because I know when I bring up Sno-Ball, oh, you know, they always say how, you know, people are nice there, they love the product, but same thing. But when they're, oh, they're so nice there, they can, you know, it's the relationships that you have built here in the community says a lot about you and your product and your business. So
Absolutely.
congratulations.
Thank you. Absolutely. And it's like I thank my employees every day. If I'm walking in and I'm dropping off products or whatever I'm doing, delivering, you know, supplies, I say thank you every day to my employees. Thank you. I love you guys. I love you every single day. At night when we shut down, they lock the door. I love you. Y'all be safe going home. I tell them every single day.
And I've heard you, mijita, and you know,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know, con
It's like,
cariño.
without them, my business wouldn't be nothing. My employees, besides the product, my employees are my everything. And they know it, and I tell them all the time. I buy them food, I feed them, we do things together. During Easter, I hide Easter eggs around the store, and they have all kinds of little prizes. I just do for my employees, so they're happy. And if they're happy, they're gonna treat my customers even better.